couple Sundays ago, and somebody looked at me like, it's not busy. I don't know how you're not busy in the summer. Anyways, in that regard, not like a bad busy, a good busy. A lot of things. We got our logo back today, and we're starting to implement that on our website. So check us out under sentout.org. That's our website address, and we got our financial stuff taken care of. So we're making progress here. I'm actually going to get an AC at least started to be put in tomorrow, and I'm excited about that because we've been without one for a couple weeks. So a lot of those things going on sort of occupies your time and trying to do things with your family and various stuff. Yeah, so it's been an interesting summer. It always is for me. I don't know about you. But as we look back to last week, this is a follow-up, and we sort of move forward here. And but we look back, Elijah, my son, preached or shared his testimony, I think is a more accurate thing. And I don't know what my expectations were, but I thought he did a great job. I mean, maybe I'm biased in that, but I really do think he did a great job, and it was much greater than I thought it was going to be. The fact of his communicating spiritually to spiritual things, I thought, now I knew he'd be a good speaker. I know he is clever with his words. We see that all the time. I knew he had a little mannerism issues working through, but that's new as you get to speak and stuff. So anyways, yeah. So I was really pleased with that. And so the thrust of his message was that he came to a place in college, I think October's was the date was, where he realized he had to move forward in his faith, that you can't stay still. He went to retreat. You can't stay still. You got to be moving forward in your faith. And I thought that was a great point. And he talked about how he had to own that, and mom and dad no longer were there making him do things, and that he needed to do it on his own. He felt God's press on that. And he did that. He incorporated things in his life, worship attendance, stuff like that, all those various things about this idea of moving forward. Had a small group, accountability, which we feel is greatly important. And if you're not part of one, see me. If you're a man, if you're a woman, see April or my wife, and they're a part of them, and we'll get you plugged in somehow. We'll figure it out, okay? August is probably not the time, maybe September when things are settling down. We'll get people renewed and start in that. So that's some ideas. But when he came back around on the back side, just as he finished, he talked about God's goodness. His scripture was 2 Peter chapter 1, 3 through 9. 2 Peter 1. And he talked about how, God's taking care of us. And he then recalled all the things he shared in his testimony, the little places that things happened in his life that he didn't take for granted, but he realized it was God's favor on his life. Why was God's favor on his life? Because he was trying to be obedient to follow him. Not saying it always looked good. He said it didn't always look good, but he was trying to be. And if we honor God, he'll honor us, is a scripture I like to say, and it's out of Samuel, 1 Samuel, I believe, in that regard. Yeah, and that's the idea. So we put our foot, and we call it synergism, meaning we sort of do our part and God does his part. It's a combining, I guess. And sometimes it's hard to figure out whose part is whose. But I thought it was a great message. And so it brings us to life, like right here, ground zero. And we're calling that is our homes. Ground zero is our homes. That's where everything needs to start. That's where everything needs to happen. And so I talked to my wife before that. I go, well, I didn't do this message. Usually I have a follow-up, some extra points and stuff. I go, what do you think I do? And she, boy, she hit it right away. She says, well, you just need to say, what are you doing in your homes? And so she's point blank. Wonder what's going to happen if I were to die. My wife would just take over preaching for me or something. Anyway, so she was right. She goes, so here's a question. What are you doing in your home to push forward in faith with your family? So what are you doing in your household? And it doesn't have to be incredible things like, we read the Bible, New Testament every week. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it doesn't have, we want to think that way. But what's a couple simple practical ways you could do that? And the number one thing, I hope we have family meals at least once in a while. Whenever we have a family meal, just stop and pray in your meal. Stop and give thanks. Take something home from church off the wall. Bring it to your children. Maybe once a week you can get together and read some scripture together. Maybe you can do that more. That's good for you, but not everybody can do that, okay, with the schedules and the various things going on. So what can you implement in your home? What's one small tangible goal you can do in a semi-routine way in your home? And remember, when you do these things, they're very hard and it's difficult because the enemy doesn't want you to get your home geared towards God, going in that direction, moving forward in faith. He wants you to stay where you are. And some of us have bought into that. We've just taken the candy and ate it and said, here we are. We're just not going to do anything because it's just too hard. And that's not what God. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. He wants to empower us, especially as parents and grandparents, whoever you are, or maybe you're a youth watching or a child. He wants to empower us to live that life that he wants us to live and to have the benefits and be able to recognize. And sort of, I think what Elijah was saying, he knew the voice of God in his life. These things happen in my life, and that's God. That's how God operates, and that's how God works. Whether it's connecting with friends, whether it's finding a church, whether it's the financial situation, whatever it might be, God does, he was working in those things. And he wants to do the same thing in your life. But synergism says we got to put our foot forward, right? We got to press forward in our faith. Move forward. Don't stay as you are, but move forward. So there's our follow-up for the message of this week by Elijah Blaine. If you missed it, I want to encourage you to watch it. It's not long. I think it's 20 minutes, and it's really good. It really is a great little testimony summing up his desires for Elijah's life, and I believe his desires for our life. We also had a great response, and I'm praying for those people that raised a hand this week. Thank you so much for being honest with me and with God, and we're excited about what God is doing in Sent Out Community Church. Thank you so much. God bless you.